What's up, Roos? I'm Lawrence Brooks IV, and welcome to a new semester of Roo News.
COVID-19 mask mandate.
There's a lot to cover.
Lieutenant Governor Mike and KC reported.
UMKC experiences its first major decline in COVID cases as the numbers begin to platoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lawrence Brooks IV.
And I'm Sylvia Jeffress. UMKC went from 88 active cases last week to down to 11 active cases this week, the lowest number we've seen in weeks. For all cases this semester, the total has stayed steady with 230 cases. You can get a free COVID-19 test at the UMKC Student Health and Wellness Center at 51st Street in Oak in Suite 237. Even though UMKC will still offer free vaccines via its partnership with Samuel U. Rogers Health Center, the next vaccine clinic will happen next week on March 1st from 1 to 5 p.m.
While COVID cases drop at UMKC, Latinx Student Union members decided out of safety to delay some of its future events, the biggest being our Excelencia Breakfast, which will now happen next semester on September 29th. Adelante will still happen this year. The planned date is on April 15th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you are interested in learning more about the organization, you can attend their upcoming meeting March 8th at 6 p.m. at the Student Union in room 402.
The new division at UMKC is hiring. The Division of Diversity and Inclusion is hiring diversity ambassadors. According to the website, students chosen for this rewarding initiative will become trained facilitators of diversity, peer education, and intergroup dialogues. Requirements include a 2.5 GPA minimum and must attend multiple mandatory meetings. For more information, go to umkc.edu/diversity. Click on the Initiative tab and select Diversity Ambassadors.
Scholarship deadlines are approaching. For us current students, March 1st will be the final day we can submit material for all available scholarship applications. Undergraduates also must submit their Research Fellow transcript designation on the same date. Nominations for awards for excellence in mentoring are also on March 4th. Students who are applying for the SURUP grant for summer undergraduate research projects must turn in all necessary information. Make sure you go to umkc.academicworks.com to submit necessary material.
I have submitted so many scholarships, so many recommendation letters, reached out to so many, and it just never ends, does it?
It does not end, but it's a wonderful process. Yeah. I've received a veteran scholarship, and I received the Something B. Coleman Scholarship through the College of Arts and Sciences for academic excellence, so I appreciate it. It definitely saved me some money. 2, and 3, it left some money over on my GI Bill for when I go to law school. So I will say to all UMKC students, the ones that are up and coming, future students, or the ones that's here now, fill out all scholarship information, man. That money just goes back to a grant or a fund somewhere if you don't use it, so you might as well use it.
Now, from UMKC, we go to the greater Kansas City area for some news updates. Many Roos here at UMKC attended one of the most anticipated concerts of 2022. Tyler, the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost 2022 tour, made a pit stop at the Cable Dimer Arena. Artists that joined him include Cali Kiss, Vince Staples, and Tizo Touchdown. Tickets are ranged at $130 per seat, but even the expensive ticket prices didn't stop any Kansas Cityans from seeing Tyler perform.
Blue Springs added a new facility this past week. The KC Curling Club opens its first exclusive curling building for Kansas Cityans. It's located near Interstate I-70. You can go to kccurling.com to find out more information on the building and how you can take classes on curling.
What is curling?
Curling is it's a game of the greatest generation, you know. I don't see much interest in curling for millennials and Zoomers. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, I got a bunch of critiques on Blue Springs, and bringing curling is one of them, but I'm going to say that for another second. I'm going to say that for another time, but.
Now we are going to introduce 2 new segments to RooTV. First, ever thought what your weekly horoscope is? Well, look no further. Here for the first horoscope update is Park Leblay. Take a look.
Where is she? Her segment's supposed to start in 5 minutes.
Oh, her private says she's in the Starbucks line.
Why am I not on her private story?
I don't know, I'm sorry.
Just I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself if I have to. At least she left notes. Hi Roos, and welcome to this week's Horoscopes. Now you might be wondering, why is RooTV, a bastion of journalistic integrity, hosting an astrology program? Don't ask me, I didn't greenlight this program. Let's get into this week's Horoscopes. Aries, you're going to find some spare change on the bus. Could be 20 cents or $20. Only the stars know. Prepare to do some decluttering and cleaning of your physical spaces as well. Get those dirty socks off the floor and vacuum every once in a while. You slob. That's mean. Taurus, expect a phone call or text from your father this week regarding your public image. Maybe he found your Twitter account where you post pictures of Tony the Tiger and add thirsty captions. Ew. Maybe it's best you private that account anyway. Either way, make sure you communicate and use your down-to-earth nature to your advantage. Gemini, prepare to go back to your roots this week, you two-faced... Oh, I'm not saying that. Visiting home or meeting with your family is a great idea. After all, how long has it been since you called your grandma? Oh, that's sweet. Or revisited those mommy issues. Cancer, you're feeling sexy and seductive this week, as well as creative. Why not meld those two into perfect harmony by creating an art project for your sweet thing? Craft your lover a macaroni portrait, then invite them over to marvel at it in your room, alone. Catch my drift? Just make sure to leave out the cheese powder, the only cheese that should be there. Oh, no. I'm not saying that. Leo, do you need to stock up on more protein powder? Check your grocery list again. Is there something you're forgetting besides the produce slowly decomposing in the back of your fridge? The stars are making you forgetful this week, so don't forget your routines. Virgo, is there a big partnership or contract you're worrying about? Don't fret. I have a feeling things will work out this week in a big way. For now, focus on clipping coupons, and know that doesn't mean starting a lease on a new Porsche. Libra, prepare for a big shift this week. Something big is in the air, and it's not just the mold in your vents. Wait, should I change my air filter? No. Scorpio, it's time to get in touch with yourself and expand. Expand your wardrobe, I mean. Explore your fashion sense with some new outfits. Use your dramatic flair to make all the other girlies gag. Why would you want to make your friends gag? Can you tell I didn't write this? Sagittarius, expect an interaction with your local government. Have you been dodging jury duty or a speeding ticket? Or maybe it's just an angry phone call to your local city council person. The stars are a little foggy. Capricorn, have you opened any suspicious emails lately? Are you supporting any Nigerian princes? Maybe give up on the humanitarian causes this week. Aquarius, the stars are telling me it's time to finish something. The book you've been reading or the essay you've been putting off. Whatever it is, put some initiative into it. It's not bad advice. And finally, Pisces. Just like every week, everything is all about you. As you enter your first house, remember to be true to yourself. Well, ending on a good note there for this week's Horoscopes. Next week, hopefully, our host will not be stuck in the Starbucks line. I'm Park Zebley. Thanks for watching.
Now from Horoscopes, we go to the world of TV shows and movies. With new movie news and TV shows updates popping up each day, Cristian Martinez is here to guide you through all the messy announcements. Introducing for the first time is the show, The Sanctum Roo-ject. What do you have for us, Cristian?
What's up, everyone? Welcome to The Sanctum. As always, I'm the Sanctum Roo-ject, Cristian Martinez. Let's take a look at some of the latest news around movies and TV shows, including some Marvel updates and a look at the future of Paramount+. First, Those Super Bowl trailers were amazing. Marvel Studios released some of the best trailers that I've ever seen in a while. Now, if you happen to live under a rock, Marvel Studios did provide a brand new look at Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and Moon Knight. The fact that they revealed so much information just makes it bonkers overall. And I mean, let's just start with Doctor Strange. Fans like me geek the hell out of the visuals in Multiverse of Madness. I mean, Sam Raimi never misses, so don't expect less from him. But honestly, even though with all the crazy stuff going on, I think the biggest reveal of this trailer is when we heard the voice of Professor frackin' Xavier. I mean, folks, we just saw the first official X-Men in the MCU. I dreamed of this since I was a child playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance on my Xbox with my little apple juice on the side. But now, having the chance to see some of my favorite legacy heroes return, it's just magical as hell. In terms of Multiverse of Madness news, actors Patrick Stewart, who played Professor Xavier, aka Professor X, and Ryan Reynolds, who played Deadpool, have kept hush-hush on whether or not they will be in the film. Now, with multiple actors and heroes rumored to show up in this glorious film, including the one and only Tom Cruise, I think they're going to show up. I mean, ever since the Andrew Garfield fiasco, I think that I can't even believe what they say. I know for a fact that they are lying. So I'm a betting man. So I'm going to bet a million pennies that they're going to show up. So, I mean, bet however much you want, but I know for a fact that we're going to appear. Now, let's jump from the multiverse to the world of TV, and let's look at Moon Knight. I know this show is going to be gnarly as hell, and I think it's just going to be amazing. I mean, in the latest trailer, Mark Spector showcased his badass cape and weapons. I mean, we even got to see Mr. Knight, which is something I didn't think would happen. Now, honestly, with all this stuff coming out, it makes me want to see this show ASAP as possible. Now, when we talk about some Moon Knight news, Disney Plus did reveal the release schedule for March, and unfortunately, we're only going to get one episode that will premiere on March 30th. Meanwhile, numerous images have been revealed in anticipation for the show, including images of Khonshu, Oscar Isaac, May Callumway, Ethan Hawke, and even some behind-the-scenes shots. While some clowns consider the Moon Knight character a C-list superhero, I always loved his character and just his multiple personalities and just how dark he is. And honestly, this is up there for the most anticipated show of the year for me. Now let's hop from Marvel to Disney because we got a lot of new news coming down. So if you guys don't know, there's this show that I used to watch as a kid called Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, and it came out in, I believe it's in the 80s or 90s, but there were a lot of reruns that I watched as a kid, and even though I was born in the early 2000s, I still love watching that show. So I think it was on Super Bowl Sunday or even before, they released a new trailer for Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, which brings them 30 years into the present, which to me, it reminds me of that guilty pleasure that I liked as a kid called Looney Tunes Back in Action. It's a proper blend of live action, 2D and 3D animation that I just believe that it could make for a great Disney comedy. However, I do understand the frustration of some fans. Some of the Rescue Ranger stands really hate the sound of the duo. I mean, it's Andy Samberg and John Mulaney voicing the protagonists, but it seems cool to me, but I know that it isn't what we grew up with. Nonetheless, I'm going to give this movie a chance, to be honest, but I'm going to set my expectations just a little bit low just in case. Now, from Disney, we're going to hop on to Netflix. So last week, the powerhouse streaming service announced that the video game BioShock will be made into a live-action film. Honestly, I have no clue what BioShock is. I just don't have the time to play video games like I used to. But from what I've seen and from what I heard, it looks like fans overall are excited for what the film has to offer. Now, if any of you know about BioShock or are excited or even mad about the transition from the video game to live action, drop a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Now let's move on to Paramount, where they revealed numerous projects for the future in terms of Paramount Plus. Some of the most exciting projects dropping this year include stuff like Halo, a reboot of Frasier, Star Trek Strange New World, and a live-action Very Odd Parents. Other shows that will be released in the future but don't have a release date include stuff like Criminal Minds, The Real Criminal Minds, The Italian Job, Unplugged, and Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies. Now, in terms of movies, Paramount is really pulling all the stops this time. Some of the films that they announced included A Quiet Place 3 and a spin-off to that, Star Trek 4, Sonic 3, Blue's Clues the movie, another live-action Dora the Explorer film, a Teen Wolf movie, wow, more SpongeBob movies, and an animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. So yeah, that is a lot. But honestly, I think all these releases could boost Paramount Plus up there with Disney Plus and even Netflix. But they really have to bank on the majority of their new properties succeeding overall. So honestly, let's hope that Paramount Plus can nail this. Now, with that being said, I think it's a great time to wrap up this show. I mean, I just talked for a lot, huh? There's a lot of news that we just had to cover. But if I missed anything, or if you think I should cover anything else in the world of pop culture, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. As always, I am Cristian Martinez. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Christian, for keeping me in the know. Returning for his latest update in the world of reviews is Joshua Cunningham, who has something special for us. Joshua?
Hello, thanks for having me today. I will be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is one of my favorite shows to watch. I've rewatched it twice now. It came on Netflix during COVID, and I rewatched it because I'm like, oh, as a kid, I really liked this show. You know, it'll probably still be really good. And it low-key blew me out the water, way better than what it was when I was even younger. And then I just rewatched it during Christmas break. So I'm going to tell you 3 reasons why you should watch it. The first one is just the spirituality in it, like the spiritual elements. There's this one episode where they talk about opening your chakras, and I know, like, you know, that stuff you might not believe in, but I do think the concepts of it are really good. So the first one is survival, and all these ones have some emotional element to it that you have to open up. I'm not going to talk about all that today because it would take too much time, but if you want to look it up, you can. Survival is the first one. Pleasure is the second one. Willpower is the third. Love is the fourth. 5th is truth. 6 is insight. And then 7 is energy of the cosmos. That one's a little, that one's a little more hard to believe. But, if you believe in all the energy and stuff, then this would be really good for you. And they just talk about how you can achieve these things and where they are in your body. And they have a lot more other stuff about just spirituality and energy and all that stuff. And if you enjoy it, you would enjoy this show. The second thing is humor. Yes, it's a little bit kiddie humor, like when you're younger, but it's very funny. It's just some dumb stuff sometimes that will make you laugh, and it's definitely a really nice blend of that humor with some of these adult topics that I'm about to talk about, which is my third point, is the adult topics. The storylines are so well, and especially character Zuko, he struggles a lot with his purpose the whole show, and it was really good. And it really makes you think about how you want to live life and what are you going to do. And then right and wrong. There's constant question of right and wrong where some characters think it's right to maybe murder this person because he's a bad guy, but others are like, no, this isn't good. And it's constant like, what is right and wrong in certain situations? Because sometimes what's right can be seen different in a different situation. So if any of that intrigued you, you should go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's one of my favorite shows to watch, and hopefully it could become one of yours. That's all I have time for today. Thank you.
While TV shows and movies are a huge part of our lives, books are still a lost passion for many. Today, Afnan Hussain reviews one of her favorite books of this week. What do you have for us, Afnan?
Hi everyone, my name is Afnan Hussain and this is Book Review. Today I'm going to be talking about 3 different books. Later by Stephen King, Outliers, The Story of Success by Malcolm Gladwell, and It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Later by Stephen King highlights the life of a kid named Jamie, who can see what no one else sees and learn what no one else can learn. Unfortunately, this will take a toll on him as he will not be able to use his ability to his advantage. It is a coming-of-age story, while it still had its share of mystery and paranormal activity, but although it covers a more supernatural element. With over 50 published novels, Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, so I was very excited when this book came out. Unfortunately, I will give it a rating of 4 out of 5. It did have a very descriptive plotline, which was more thrilling than horror, but it ended with a twist that felt incomplete, but that is a classic King signature. Outliers examines the factors that contribute to a high level of success with a thought-provoking, hard-to-swallow, insightful analysis. They call Malcolm Gladwell the myth of busters of psychology and sociology. He takes commonly held assumptions and analyzes them to prove they are either not true or limited. In this book, he looks at phenomena outside of our normal everyday experience. He examines such unlikely topics such as rice farming, airline accidents, hockey, and musical auditions. I would rate this book a 4.5 out of 5. It's a very entertaining read, with lots of entertaining and interesting anecdotes, but it never engages with counter-arguments. If you like this book, check out David and Goliath. It allows us to think about obstacles and disadvantages, offering a new interpretation of many different types of setbacks. Now for my all-time favorite book of the year. With It Starts With Us coming out this year, let's discuss It Ends With Us. I would give this book a 5 out of 5 rating. It absolutely destroyed me. Heavy, intensive, emotional, unput-downable. Abuse and domestic violence are fragile subjects, yet the main theme of the story. This is a quick synopsis. Lily grows up in an abusive household. After watching her mother suffer due to an abusive husband, she tells herself that she will never allow any man to treat her that way. She becomes a strong and independent woman, escaping the horrors of her childhood, or so she thinks. Disregarding everything she's promised herself growing up, Lily finds herself in an abusive relationship. The cycle is so insidious that you can't believe it. She manages to construct the violence into a relationship that is perfect. It is so well written that you don't want to believe what you've read. I actually found myself making excuses for the abuser. I didn't want to believe that he wouldn't change. For the first time, I could understand why women make excuses for their abusers. I can only imagine how strong that pull must be in reality if I felt so heavily about a fictional character. Her strength and conviction blew me away. Although it is refreshing in a sense, because it's not your classic romance story, but it has an end that will absolutely destroy you. Thanks for listening.
Now for sports, we jump right into the den with Jackson Ogden, who is joined by a familiar co-host for the first time. Let's take a look.
Welcome back into the den. I'm Jackson Ogden. First, I've got my lovely co-host, Marissa Leggio, who will update us on all UMKC sports. Marissa, what do you got for us in UMKC sports today?
Let's start off with men's basketball, who had an excellent week at North Dakota. The Roos picked up an 80-65 win against the University of North Dakota, along with another 85-71 win against North Dakota State just days apart. Evan Gilliard continues to be a leader for the team as he scored 19 points against the Hawks and 33 points against the Bison. Men's basketball will travel back home this week for their last 2 games of regular season. Moving on to some more exciting games, as women's basketball also picked up 2 wins against North Dakota and North Dakota State. The Roos took down the Hawks in an exciting 71-76 win this past Thursday and a 76-67 win against the Bison on Sunday. It was a special week for senior Brooklyn McDavid as she led the team in points on Thursday and Sunday, which was her senior day. They have now reached 9 consecutive wins as they quickly approach their final 2 games of regular season. UMKC softball headed to sunny Las Vegas and suffered 3 losses this past weekend. The Roos began Saturday with a game against Weber State, but were 1 point short at the end and lost 6-5. They then played their second game of the day against the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. It was a similar outcome as the team was again 1 point short and lost 4-3. The Roos had one last chance on Sunday against the Rebels, but couldn't seem to keep up with their strong hitters. 7 Roos had hits in the game, and Chloe Highbrenner has recorded a hit in 8 of the 9 games so far this season. However, the Roos ended the game with an 11-7 loss. That's all I have for UMKC sports. So Jackson, tell me what's going on in the MLB.
Yeah, Marissa, the MLB and MLBPA met yet again on Thursday, February 17th, and the meeting lasted a grand total of 15 minutes before the sides called it a day without getting a new deal done. Due to this, the start of spring training has been pushed back at least 1 week, and if a deal is not agreed upon by February 28th, the MLB season will officially be pushed back. I know a lot of people are confused as to why the MLB is even in a lockout, so I thought I'd give my best explanation to what's going down currently. Players feel with the emergence of analytics within front offices that fewer and fewer second and third tier players are getting paid when they finally become free agents after 6 years of Major League service time, which is often when a player turns 30 or very close to it. Players would like to be paid more at younger ages because that's when they're in their prime. The system also favors keeping players in the minor leagues for several weeks extra to slow down their Major League service time. Overall, the owners are basically being greedy billionaires, and because of that, us fans are probably going to miss out on some, if not all, the games in 2022. On to some NBA news. All-Star Weekend was held in Cleveland, and just like that city, it was pretty boring. The three-point contest was a decent watch, with center Karl Anthony Towns winning it with an insane 29 in the final round, but the dunk contest nearly put me to sleep at 9:30 on a Saturday night, which is nearly impossible. Obi Toppin of the Knicks basically won by default, but the real winners were those of you who didn't watch because that was a waste of time. On to some NFL news. While we don't have games anymore, we do have some Chiefs free agency to talk about. The free agency period doesn't begin officially until March 16th. However, the Chiefs have many starters that they need to make some decisions on before that day. Starting off with safety Tyrann Mathieu, the Chiefs are definitely going to be interested in bringing him back, but at what cost? His estimated market value is $14.8 million per year, which could potentially be too much for the Chiefs considering the current cap situation. Then there's left tackle Orlando Brown, who they pretty much have to pay considering they gave up a first-round pick for him a year ago. In all honesty, it might come down to one or the other rather than getting both back, and personally, I'd sign with Orlando Brown even though I love the Honey Badger. Other notable free agents include Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle, Melvin Ingram, Shavarius Ward, and others. As long as they don't bring back Daniel Sorensen, I won't be too upset, although there is no doubt that losing some guys from the Super Bowl team will hurt. That's all the sports I've got for you this week. As always, I'm Jackson Ogden. See you next week.
Thanks for joining us this week. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram.
And check out RooTV and Roo News for campus and KC Metro news updates. We'll see you next week.